Today we're going to look at quite a few things. We're going to look at equal and negative vectors as well as how to add and subtract these geometrically. So if a vector is equal, so for example this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2, we could say AB is 2, 5. And you'll notice here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2. So that's vector PQ. We'd also say vector PQ is 2 and 5. So these vectors are equal. A reminder, it's a position vector if it comes from the origin. Where this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 5, 2, it's 2, 5 again, AB, but if we look at MN, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but we have to look at that direction. M is, we're going from M to N. So that is -2, -5. So those are negative vectors because it's the complete opposite. So to construct vectors, draw one vector and draw the second vector at the arrowhead of the first. So for example, if we had 3, 2, whoops, and we touched on this yesterday, plus 1, 4, we'd say we start here, so 3, 2, there's our vector, plus 1, 4. And our final vector, the vector that we're talking about now, is the one that goes from the beginning to the end. So that's why we have 4, 6. So this next one here, let's see. PQRS is a parallelogram. PQ is A. So let's see, let's draw a parallelogram. PQRS. So if PQ is vector A, and you'll notice how it's bold there, QR is vector B, find Q to P. Well, we're going the opposite way, so letter A, Q to P would be negative vector A. Letter B, how do we get from R to Q? Well, that would be the opposite of vector B. S to R, well, S to R, if they're parallel, this also has to be vector A, so this is also another A vector. And D, S to P, well, notice we're going S to P, so that's B, but going the opposite direction, so it's the opposite of B. And on this second page here, let's see what we can find. O to X is X, and it says here A, B, and C are the midpoints. So this whole thing is X. So I'm just going to rewrite that out here. That's vector X. O to Y, that's Y. Now we have to find these in terms of X and Y. O to A, well, it's half of that. So if I cross this out right here, each of these is really half X and half X, because the whole thing's X. So O to A is 1/2 X. Well, O to B, well, the whole thing's Y, so half Y, half Y. So that's half Y. And now it's saying X to Y. So we want to know, let's see, we want to know how to get from X to Y. Well, we don't know that length, so we're going to have to go around these other ways. So how do we get from X to Y? Well, to get to X to Y, we can go here to here. So we can go from X to O, and then we can add O to Y, because we can't go straight from X to Y because we don't know that, so we have to go the opposite way. Well, if we go this way, it's our X vector, but it's the opposite of X. O to Y, well, that's the same, that's just our Y vector. Okay, so I'm going to erase some of this here because that's kind of a mess to have all that. So we have that. Let's see for this next one. So we want to go from O to C. So let's see here. We want to go from O to C. So to get from O to C, we can go O to X plus X to C. Okay, so O to X, we know that that is X. Well, we found X to Y. I'm going to label that. That's negative X plus Y. So X to C is half of that. So we have to go our X vector plus half of negative X plus Y. And if we distribute, minus half X plus half Y. So we have half X plus half Y. And you'll notice some of you might have said, you might have looked at this and said, well, to get from O to C, couldn't we go this way? So another way to get from O to C would be to go to O to Y plus half of Y to C. Well, O to Y we know is Y plus half of Y to C. Well, that's half, but we found X to Y, so it's the opposite of negative X plus Y. So again, if we distribute, plus half plus the opposite of X minus Y. So Y plus half X minus half Y. So we end up again with half Y plus half X. So we could get it going either direction. All right, and the last thing we're going to take a look at, this last one here. How do we get from, let's see if we can erase some of this. Might put that, we know that we're going, this is the direction that we know. C to O. So C to O, if we went this way, it'd be C to Y plus Y to O. Well, C to Y is half of it, and it's going this direction. So half of negative X plus Y. Plus Y to O is the Y vector, but we are going against it, so the opposite of Y. So we have negative half X plus half Y minus Y. So this would be half X, negative half X minus half Y.